Good morning. Another edition. Equinedge coverage, Fairgrounds. Welcome. Big day, LeCompte day, but even bigger day for the Seahawks. Playing the Niners tonight. Going to be a good one. Sam Darnold, hopefully going to be just fine. I got asked to cover all the races, so let's do it. I got 14 minutes till first post, so that's the plan. Thanks for joining. I'll go through. I got a sheet. I always give it to anybody if you're in the stretch run chat. Feel free message me if you ever want to join that, and then hit the QR code up above. 3 free races per day, and I'll remind you, still a New Year special for Equinedge. You can get that great special. Check out that special on X, and let's dive in. So we're starting off. My plan, I'll cover each race. We'll run the race sim, and I'll just kind of talk through it, and then we'll go to the next one. I'll talk my best bets. I got a few of them. Hey, Gary, this is a good starter allowance to start the card. The 11 scratch out. Most of these races held together except for race 9, which there was an interesting scratch. There's speed here. Liar's Poker might get away on the front end. I don't think the 10 can, but the 8 might be able to. I thought that the 9 is probably with the 4 and the 5, the horses to beat here, though. You can see they both take over in the stretch, the 4 and the 5. The 9 take all the money, but the 4 and 5 up there on the race sim, I have a strong opinion, really. But the race sim, I think, puts this race together rather nicely. And the 9 is the other player, I would say, and in the second pick there. So that's race 1. Again, we're going to try to cover all of them in the next 13 minutes. So race 2, maiden special, state bred, another good race, fairly competitive. I do think Miss Shane is a live long shot, so we'll talk about that. Paradise Ridge probably going to set the speed, but Miss Shane might send and might take this group a long way sprinting 6 furlongs on the dirt track. Miss Supermo was my top pick, going to be a good price, 36% to win. You can see takes away there in the stretch. If the 3 can get to the front, could be dangerous. But I put Miss Supermo on top. Been consistent for Calhoun, ran well last out, finished second, stalking the pace, and is hit the board in all 3 there. Tied the knot for Genzone, second time out. Might be a player if this horse is fit and ready. The win percent jumps from 3 to 17%. So it's another tough race, I thought, here. I would be spreading. And then Love Getaway also might be a player here. Pedroza was on the turf last out, now switches over. You get a 6-point GSR increase. That's our genetic strength rating. Flips over to the dirt on state bred, ran 4th, was on the rail, shifts out, might improve. So competitive race. The picks got in the 8 would be the other in the mix. Race 3, allowance, 3-year-olds. The 3 Thunderbucks scratch out because he's gonna race in the LeCompte. I think Jackson Hole single. Arabia Wild ran a good race. Different Gravy won on the lead. I think it's Ben Curtis. We'll look in a second. Set was gone, but that was a much easier group when we'll look at that. Jackson Hole, 57%. You get the scratch of the 3 out. I think this would be a single, be a best bet for me. Takes over in the stretch. I think is going to be tough here with the 3 scratching out. C wins there. We look at Jackson Hole, won a main special for Fletcher. That was at Gulfstream. He was really green, kind of trying to figure it out still there in December. Now a 3-year-old was 2 then. Won kind of easily from the that 7 post going 7 furlongs. I think runs a really, really good race here. Again, a best bet. I think the others are running for underneath. That was a 50, can improve here in allowance. You'll see different Gravies win on the lead was versus a 42 as a maiden optional claim. Ben did a good job and always does such a great job having a great meet on the lead set. But I think it's still Jackson Hole, and then Arabia Wild obviously ran a good race there in a 56 for Cox. Irad Rides was at Fairgrounds off the pace. I put underneath. I still think the 1 is the goods here. Let's keep going because what do we got? 10 minutes. I'm going to try to get done before first post. So state bred, allowance optional claim. You don't get any scratches, and that hurts FTW Slam. When you're in that 9 post, and going 2 turns or going 1 post, it's really tough to win from out there. So that would be my concern with FTW Slam. I think it's a 3-horse race. I put Classic Time on top. I don't know. I think probably Go Off is the favorite. Dapper Moon is just a question mark for me. A Dallas Stewart, I'm not sure really how it's going to run here. It does get the 2 posts. It does win the race sim, but it's dropping, you could say, but didn't win last out. And that's what I didn't like. Got a perfect setup, a perfect trip. It was 5-1 that day. But didn't win. Hernandez right back, which you like. So, maybe gets there, but this horse really struggled, but it has been facing tougher. If you're E user, you can see my analysis. Classic Time, as long as, and we have no video, which makes it really tough. And we're about to get in the maiden races, but Jose rides, won a 54 and then couldn't win that stakes race, but you could toss that. That was on the turf. Maybe didn't want the turf, but GSR says maybe, but gets back, falls into State Bred at Fairgrounds last meet, wins that 64 easily by 3 lengths, stalking the pace. I think it's a similar trip. Jose just dominating, right? He taking over as leading jockey. I think he's up by 3. Cassie here, fine State Bred allowance. I think runs a good race. And then I'll talk about Max Get Excited, because this would be my long shot play. It's Scotty long shot as well. Has never faced State Bred. And so smartly by Brett Crarington, I don't know that trainer. It looks like a small barn. Tyler Bacon in town at Fairgrounds comes out of Oaklawn to ride here, and I think can run a good race. Won the Bachelor at Oaklawn, which was a 64. So this horse 100% fits at the State Bred level. Out of Damn Katie Get Excited, going to be in that outside stalking post. Has a better post than FTW Slam, I think, from a stalking position. And the form does not look great here. But this horse has been in outside posts and inside posts all the time, and is going to get, as we see, a pretty good stalking trip. And if the 2 and 4 get into it, this horse could sit a really good trip. And again, first time State Bred. I like that angle, and I think the rest of the field don't really fit. So you've all heard me all meet. It's really tough without having work videos for me to really get a top opinion on main races, but I'll talk about him because Equined's still great. We can try to figure it out, but it makes it tougher to handicap these races without any work video. The 11, I talked about it earlier. The only way to win from out there is to send. This is the only way outside the 9 post for Kayla's Comet. And I would expect, I think Axel riding, if I remember, he's going to try to send. But the problem is Luis Saez in town riding Winning Manners, the 5. And he 100% going to be aggressive. Kayla's Comet, Axel riding for Calhoun, had all types of opportunities. I'm not putting it on top. Winning Matters, if Louis goes, he might run them off their feet. I mean, ran a great race 2 back. He's sending. So I think that's going to make it really hard for Kayla's Comet. I put Feeling Groovy on top, the 2. I mean, all I have is our genetic strength rating, our morning line, the race sim, connections, West Point Thoroughbred, Flavia Pratt riding, going to run a great race. Watch Cherie DeVoe today. I mean, she could be dangerous all day, whether on the turf or dirt. She has been prepping for Lecomte all meet. She loaded. Jose going to have a big day, I would say. But 2-1 on the morning line. Pratt rides. I always tell people it's a great angle using the race sim for Equinedge. If you don't like a horse that wins the race sim, cut him. And if Kayla's Comet gets pressed and can't get the lead from out there, which I don't think happens, the 7 win the race sim. So, it's a great angle. And then Tap to Open would be the other one that I would say might run a good race. I believe that's Brad Coxon. Irad. Yes. Again, good GSR. We can look at the works, but I got to watch the video to kind of figure out what I'm seeing. So, I think that's, but, again, it's good main special. That's for the fillies. The boys are in the next. Same situation we have. Let's watch the race sim. We cut a few to 60,000 purse. Mojakar is here as a firster. I think is live is the top pick as a firster. I like to see that. I think this is a 2-horse maiden for the boys. I think it's between the 5 and 2. We talked about the outside post that's going to going to be trouble from out there. Again, it's so brutal to try to win from out there going 1 or 2 turns. You see Mojakar win the race sim. We look, Flavien Prat, Cherie DeBeau. She might win back-to-back races. Belladonna might have a great day today. They got a ton of runners. We'll talk about some others, but I think is in a good spot, running bullets all over the place here. We can see that ran a bullet last out there. 1 of 96 was running bullets back here, running bullets here. Either goods. Flavien might be taking first call here at times for Cherie, Jose and Flavien with Prat in town, but either goods. And then guns loaded. Irad riding for Cox. We talked about them for the boys. I think they're live here again. Or we talked about them for the Phillies last race. They're again here live for the boys. That's race 6. All right, we got 4 minutes. Race 7. It's a great stakes race. I think it's between the 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's the 4 and 2 faced each other last out. The 4 had the race won and got DQ'd, and Hard-Headed ended up winning the race. I think Bear River going to get caught up in a speed duel here, though, but is live. Petkoff closing a little bit, but I think the 4 wins here. You could see on the race sim, it's, I think, between those inside runners, in my opinion. You look at Usually Wrong, talked about was DQ'd there. That was a 72. Today's a 68 on our strength of race, our class metric. I think going to be really tough. Bear River, if it gets loose, might be long gone. I mean, Bear River racing Breeders' Cup Sprint couldn't get the lead. I mean, this horse is fast, was on the dirt there and couldn't get the lead. So, but I think there's potential with this outside speed. Can't deny it with Loveberry going to show speed. The 6 going to show speed with Flavien Prat. I think the 4 did a good race. But again, the 1 on the inside, don't dismiss this horse. Won the Thanksgiving Classic, sprinting 6 on the dirt, now back on the turf for just the 3rd time. But again, Usually Wrong, Hard-Headed for me, and maybe the 1 and 3. But race 8, I thought that these next 2 races were 2 of the most wide open races other than Lecomte, because I think Lecomte wide open. But I think it's a tough main special. I will tell you, we have no work video. I would be heavily spread here. I do put Liberty Valance on top, but they're going 2 turns. I'm 3-6-2 would be my narrow stuff, but you could see other horses I left here on the race sim. They run well. It's tough to win from out there going 2 turns for Oselli, but going to run a bang up race. I think the 6 horse can run a good race, but the 3, Liberty Valance, Louis Ride for Brennan Walsh, I don't know, no work video, but I think can run a good race. Silver Shot, the 5 for Steve. Paco riding really well on the dirt, but he's not riding well on the turf. If you watch Teddy from Fairgrounds, he puts out great handicapping sheets every single day. They're 2 sheets. Look at them. They give you great info. I think runs a great race, but this is a tough main special. I won't spend any more time. Post time, race 1 in 1 minute. So I'll probably cut into a little bit to that first race, but we're going to get through this because we got our best bets coming up. Race number 9. This actually, let me refresh. I'm not getting it, but there it is. So we lost Wild About Hillary. This horse had no shot, but was the speed of the speed. So it does change the pace dynamic a little bit, I will tell you. And so with her coming out of the race, it did change my opinion a little bit. I'm going to land on Sweet Treasure with Irad on top with the scratch of the 3, mainly because Irad doesn't need the lead. I think Stylish Sue going to go. And Louis going to send now, and he's going to be on the lead because Wild About Hillary not in the race. The 5 and 8 are players, epic style of player. This is a tough race, I thought. I was, again, between last race and this race, I thought these races were pretty wide open. I know that Metadoro is who I had originally had on top, and I'm flipping to the 6. And I also think Nanda Dia can run off the pace. But with the scratch of Wild About Hillary, I think it could allow Sweet Treasure to improve here for Brad Cox. Last Stout was racing right on the lead, but they set slow fractions. Irad not going to let that happen today. He might be on the lead. He might send this horse tactical. It went on the lead. Irad might go to the front, and Stylish Sue, I think, need the lead, so, but I think Irad sits right off, sits a dream trip, and I think he'll win this race. But this is tough. I mean, I think the 5 and 8 need pace setups, and the 2's a live long shot, I will tell you. But I land on the 6 there. All right. These would be my best bets here in the later part of the card. It's great racing. We talked about the 1 in race 3. If you just joined us, I also think is a single. And thank you, everybody, for joining. It's a lot longer today. I got asked to cover all the races, so I'm fine to do it. And so, I think this race between the 1 and the 4. Our good buddy from Equine Edge, Jake, he covers Kentucky racing, knows the McPeak barn. He says take him by the wing, going to run today. And she a runner. I put the 1 on top. I think Atropa going to get the best of her, but the 4 is a player. If my single in the next race, I would do some Dutch daily doubles. And I think I think it's an exacta here, 1-4. I mean, maybe 4-1. I trust he knows, and he knows the McPeak barn. But Atropa, she didn't win the Goldenrod, but she ran a good race there. There was a loose leader with Joel, and I can't remember, is Bella Ballerina, I think, or something, got first jump on Atropa, and Atropa too far back, but she came running with Jose. We talked about Belladonna Racing. They got a good one here. They also have the 3 in White Smoke. They're loaded here. We got Cherie DeVoe again, and Atropa going to be rolling. I think the 6 probably go the lead, but Jose not going to let her get loose. He could be right there. 100% going to be right there. If you're in the chat, let me know who win race 1. I'm curious. And so, I think it's a dream trip, but take it by the wind do not dismiss this horse. I mean, she won the Pocahontas. She going 2 sprints to a route. She sprinted at Saratoga, won at 13-1. Got no respect at Churchill, and Kitty wins at 6-1. She ran a great race in the Pocahontas and won by 5 lengths. She won by a combined 8.25 lengths in both those races, and now going to go 2 turns. GSR says she's going to go 2 turns all day. She's a major player in this race. Her top number, a mile 70, and they're going to mile 70. I mean, Petropa, with the pace here, it's a bit questionable. So it's going to be a great race. So I think the 1 and 4 battling here down the stretch. I just don't know about White Smoke for Belladonna. I mean, she can be a runner, but it's so tough to come back and win right off the maiden. And she came from way back. There's not a lot of pace here. So I think this race between the 1 and the 4, but I put the 1 on top. And I think exacta play. I think you can daily double into Laganos. I think a lot of people think this is a tough turf race. The Fairgrounds turf been playing to speed a little bit lately, so know that. The 3-1 race 1, man, it doesn't super surprise me. I almost put that horse on top. That's funny. Thank you, Gary. I didn't even put in my picks because I ended up getting away from the horse. Yeah, I mean, and Jameson Ma was 0-for-46 at the meet. He gets his first win. But Laganos, I just think is better than this group. I really do. I think Kupana would be my vulnerable favorite on the card. There's probably, I think just a touch vulnerable. So we'll talk about that in the next race. But Laganos, I mean, Jose rides, Steve, they ship in. I mean, you look here. I mean, won at Fairgrounds on an off-the-turf event, won by 2 lengths last meet. Won the Grade 3 Commonwealth, the 72. Kentucky Downs, you never know about there. But won at Kentucky Downs, you got to respect that. I mean, and Laganos been facing graded stakes company all around that Kentucky Downs in the tap-in and was just too tough. I mean, this horse ran in the Arlington at 8.5, finished 3rd in a 74, ran 3rd in a 76 in the Wise Dan. I had an incredible summer and fall. And now shows up in stakes company, and we get the meets leading rider off the layoff. I mean, yeah, I don't know about from a works perspective again, but would be another best bet. I'd single here. I think it's a dream stocking trip. I think the Theismann need the lead. and for Urton, Ben's sending, and I just think they're going to fly. And they're going to go too fast, going to get first jump. And I just think that the one, Kupanu, I mean, this horse, I'm not a huge fan of horses changing surface as, late in your career. This horse 7, and all of a sudden now is a turf horse. I mean, they were all on the dirt. I mean, GSR says the horse is going to run, but I think they're searching. For me, I'm trying to beat this horse all day. And I like Logging Nose. I like as a single. I talked about the daily double on the last. I also like the try here, and I like the exacta. I think the 5 and 9 both going to run great races. I think you can get a dream exacta because the one probably going to take a lot of money, and then you can mess around with the one in the try a little bit. 10 and 11 could hit the try in third place too, I would tell you. But I'd be keen Laganos on top. I like the 5 and 9 directly underneath. Maybe the one to run second too. And then, I think the tries, 5, 9, 10, 11, but I like the 5 and 9 underneath. I rad on Cameo Performance. And then you got Reagan's Wit for Cherie, West Point Thoroughbreds, Brat. But I think these horses are running behind Logging Nose. I know the win percents are wide open. I know a lot of people think this is a tough race from what I've seen, but I like Logging Nose a lot. Would be one of my best bets of the day. I'd play a daily double into Sir Greyland. Maybe Moonlit too. I'm trying to beat Just a Touch. This horse never won a stakes race and going to be 4 to 5. I think this race wide open. I mean, everybody going to be on Just a Touch. Or scratched recently. I think there's a lot of speed up in the mix here. It's going to be contentious. I'm not sure how quick they're going to go, but it's going to be contentious up there, I think. And, Just a Touch could be 4 to 5. I mean, I don't know, man. Moonlight going to get a dream trip. I think Sir Greyling going to get first jump for Kenny. Going to be a great price. I might put the 5 on top. My long shot, one of my long shots, probably my long shot of the day. I do think the 3 in race 2 is a live long shot coming up too. But I just don't trust Just a Touch here. I mean, look at this. I mean, 1 of 70 and 62, burned money there in the Monmouth Cup, didn't win that race, coming off a massive layoff, been scratched out of races. I mean, it's Irad Cox, but Sir Greyland beat a 72 back. Never won a stakes race either, but, been facing starter allowance, has 4 wins, been running really nice. I mean, going to get a good pace set up. Accelerize could win this race. And I think Moonlight can win this race. So, I'd be spread here. I got 5 on top. I think 1, 4, 8, but I'm trying to beat Just a Touch all day. Would be another vulnerable favorite in my mind. All right. Went a little bit long, but had to cover 13 races. Not too bad. We're going to get about 2 minutes a race. Let's watch La LeCompte. This is a good one. Crown of Buckeye going to show speed. Chip Honcho got to send. You cannot win from out there. Even with the 9 scratching, it's too tough. You have to send and be on the lead. But the thing is, Crown, the Buckeye, fast. So the 11 and the 10 and the 3, I think, are going to be up front. I think people coming off the pace to win this race. So it's like, who do you like? Because there's a handful. Thunderbuck scratched out of race 3. We talked about that. I talked about earlier with the Equinedge Racing, if you don't like a horse and you want to try to beat it, cut it. Who win the race? Mesquite. I think Mesquite win the race. That's who I put on top. It's Cherie. We talked about her. Jose riding the 5, Golden Tempo. We'll talk about that horse. One last out in the 50. This horse came rolling. I mean, took back, climbed, bumped, and then just came rolling, got up. That was at 8.5. These horses, I think, are going to have a lot of pace to chase today. I think the pace comes back to these horses. I think Mesquite in the mix. So I think Quality Mischief is 100% live in this race. I almost put this horse on top. I'd be playing the late sequence here. I'd play the pick 6. I'd play the pick 5. I'd play pick 4. I'd play pick 3. Keen on Laganos in race 11. Keen on the 1 and 4 in race 10. and we talked about race 9 being a little bit, some spread races in 8 and 9. So, you had some races to key. You can spread here. Quality Mischief. This horse ran a really good gun runner. Win percent goes from 5 to 7. We talked about Mesquite. Win percent strong still. But this horse has the rail, has pace to chase. Cox and Pedroza, dangerous at 31%. Pedroza rode last out. He didn't ride up at Indy, but he rode last out and takes the mount and comes right back. This horse gonna be rolling. Cox is live here, in my opinion, with the 1. Do not dismiss this horse in the Lecomte. It's gonna come. It's gonna roll. It has a shot. White Tiger got a shot. Cox, Irad, and Golden Tempo. That'd be my 4. I think the 3 and 11. I think they send. I think Stop the Car. It's too tough to win from out there. I think the others get the jump. This is a tough Lecomte, but I'm 7-1-5-8 in the Lecomte. All right, y'all. I think we got them all. Went a little bit long. Sorry, cut into race 1. We were close, though. Good luck today. Press your opinion. The fairground's been super tough lately. Been a tougher meet this year than it was last year, I think. But, I think there's some good prices today in a few races. I think there's a couple chalk spots, and I would say Cherie, Jose, watch them, Belladonna Racing. They all going to have a good day. All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. And go Hawks. Beat the Niners. Good luck.